They'll blanket you in Wi-Fi and profit off the radiation. Congregation collecting the people for that Satan. I keeps it blazing, cause I can read between the lines. I ain't blind, we unwind what they're really saying. Genetically modify what you're tasting. Loan you that college promise, so now you live up in your mom's basement. Redesign time so your mind is always wasted. Programmed to crave the basics. Keep the beta in stasis. Pay the state, kid. You're in debt for being born. Messengers are more than just the price for being warned. Don't be alarmed, disconnect from their machinations. Stop subscribing to the folly of own nations. Bone breaking ain't the answer, cause they seek the ownership of souls. Spread the seeds and watch them grow. Break the chains of control. Break the chains of control.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful. Friends, welcome to your Sunday night episode of Rogue Ways. I am so excited tonight to bring you some reverse speech analysis. And this was suggested to me by Jay Ritchie of War on Morons. Jay is rad, and Jay was like, somebody should do some speech analysis on this clip specifically. And I did that clip, and then that got me rolling to doing like all sorts of stuff. So we're looking at reverse speech tonight, and it's going to be exciting. But it is good to see you all. If you didn't know, I already did the drawing for the Compassion Fund giveaway. That was earlier today, so if you want to go check that out. We had a few winners. I think I've already been in touch with them all, so I think we're all good. And so the Compassion Fund is done for now. Maybe we'll do another round of Compassion Fund fundraising in a little while. And I am so excited for all the people who have jumped over to, here we go, rogue.locals.com and joined the club. It's awesome to have more people there. It's awesome to have more supporters there. You can go join for free, and it's cool. So yeah, I'm excited tonight. I'm basically going to be playing you these clips. I'm going to tell you where they came from, who they are. I'm going to show you where I got them, like which video I got them from. I'm going to play you forwards what they said. I'm going to play you backwards what they said. And there's some good ones. Like, I just started this today. I just stumbled into this new hobby that I have all of a sudden, and I got, like, I think they're cool. I don't know, you guys will have to tell me what you think about them. But they, as far as I know, they're all new. I'm not like up on the reverse speech scene, so maybe other people have found these same ones. But like I said, I just started doing it today, and I found some cool ones, so I wanted to share them with you guys. But what's up, Regan in the chat, Mateo and Chris Phoenix? Nice to see you guys. Jeff Green is here. What's up? It is awesome to have you all. And let's just look. Let's see why. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do screen sharing again, and so much easier how I was doing it before. No, that's not what I want. And no, I don't want to do that either. Sorry, last time it was way easier than this. Like, why won't it let me do that one? I just wanted to be able to show you the... No, it won't let me share it all. We'll get back to that then. We can also do this without sharing any screen, so it's not a big deal. But why? Why, God? Why? You know what's really dumb? So I did this with OBS forever, and I could share anything I wanted. I could share audio, video, all of it. And then that just suddenly stopped working, like everything. And so then I went to, I was already using Restream, but I went to Restream as like the main hub, like the main operating center. I don't know what you want to call it. Instead of OBS, and it's way simpler, but it also doesn't do as much. And it's kind of janky, and you have to pay for it. All of that kind of sucks. Chris Phoenix says reverse speech has been a thing since the 1970s. Oh, I know it's not new. I meant the clips that I have tonight are new as far as I know. You're absolutely right that the idea of backmasking and reverse speech is very, very old. And when we first encountered it, it was considered to be satanic. But I like the John David Oates viewpoint of it, which is, and he's kind of like the OGs, like what most people would go to for reverse speech and would think of as the king of reverse speech in the modern era. And his idea is that everyone is doing reverse speech all the time, and that actually that's part of how, you know, your brain works, is that you're saying something forwards and you're always saying the truth backwards. So if your backwards and your forwards match, you're an honest person. And if they don't, you're lying forwards, but you can't actually lie backwards. So it's an interesting ideology. And we'll see. We'll think about that as we're looking at these. But yeah, Billy Harmon's in the house. What's up, Billy? Exactly. So I guess I'll just play these if it's not going to let me share screens. That's really, really dumb. Whoops. Oh, how obnoxious. You know, maybe I'll take my money back from these people if their shit can't even work at all. There's something else the other day that I was trying to do. It was really simple and it like wouldn't work and their chat people couldn't even figure it out and whatever. Anyway, we'll just get into it. If the screen sharing ever works, I'll show you some stuff, but it really wasn't even important. Really, it's about listening to it and hearing it. So I'm going to play these for you. And, you know, a lot of the people who are doing reverse speech, they like play it forwards and they play it backwards like 10 times and then they slow it way down and then they like put a caption on the bottom so they think it says. I'm not doing all of that because I don't have, you know, the ability to put together this like hours-long documentary movie on the things I found. I'm just going to play you what I found and you can tell me what you think it says and I'll tell you what I think it says. That's how we're going to roll. These are like 5 to 10 second clips. They're pretty short. I'm so pissed that this doesn't work. So dumb. So dumb. I disappeared. I figured if I turn things off and on, maybe it would work again, but no, it won't. Mateo asked, did I watch Jimmy Jean? No, I don't even know who that is. He did this yesterday. Yeah, I mean, people are doing this all the time. Apparently, there's a whole podcast that only does this. And I don't remember what it's called. But really, like I said, John David Oates. I hope I'm saying his name right. It's at least David Oates' part is right. Oates. He's, at least for me, the OG of reverse speech. He's the guy who first kind of brought it to our attention. And again, gave that viewpoint that like your backward speech is actually the honest part. And so if it matches, like that's cool. Whoops. No. Don't want that. Don't want that. Okay. So this is Bill Gates. And Bill Gates is talking about the trial data of the vaccine, the Moderna vaccine, and how they need more elderly people and more data from the elderly people specifically in order to get a good idea of what's going on. So here it is forward.
Elderly people in the trial will give us that data. That's the big standard of regulators.
Wow. I don't want this to just keep playing. I want it to just play one at a time. Apparently I can't do that. So I just have to pay really close attention. Let's do that again. Can you guys hear it? Tell me if you can hear it okay. Bill Gates is not Satan, but he does work with Baal Moloch, right? That's what we learned on this show, actually. All right, again, here's that clip forwards.
Elderly people in the trial will give us that data.
So you heard that elderly trial in the elderly people in the trial will give us that data. Now here it is backwards.
That's the big standard.
Wow, it really, really sucks. Here we go. We'll do it on loop. That way we can hear it again. So here it is again. And what it sounds like to me is that he's saying a big hope, and then some garbledness, and then something about elder abuse. So it sounds like he's hoping for elder abuse in the trials of this vaccine. So let's see it again, backwards.
That's the big
So he just said, and then that's a big hope, and then in a second he's going to say elder abuse. Maybe I'm reaching here. All of these are like, you kind of have to like listen, you know, closely for it to even work. I hope you guys can even hear it, honestly. I want to, again, if we were on OBS, I could play all these perfectly for you. You could hear them perfectly. They would be queued up. It would be so easy, but I have like gremlins that terrorize my electronics. Gold standard was the forward. So let's do the forward one more time.
Elderly people in the trial will give us that data.
Oh, that was the next one. Sorry. So that was the first one that we just heard backwards. You heard gold standard, and that was part of the next one that I fixed it now. We're only going to hear one at a time. And that was, here's one backwards again. So listen again for a big hope and then elder abuse. It's really, the elder abuse part is really fast and it's at the end. All right, we'll do the next one. We'll see if it's any better. This is forwards. This is the one with gold standard in it. So this is him explaining that the FDA is the gold standard of, you know, deciding whether or not vaccines are safe.
Gold standard of regulators and their current guidance on this, if they stick with that, is very, very appropriate. Gold standard.
So the gold standard, if they stick with their standards, it's very appropriate. And then here it is backwards. I'll play for you first, then I'll tell you what I think that I hear. What's up, Idiocalypse? Nice to see you guys here tonight. Okay, so at the beginning it sounds like he's saying, this is the backwards one of that same one. It sounds like he's saying they're supposed to regulate this, and then some garbledness, and then it sounds like he's saying my sin, and then something about is not internationally governed. So he's like, they're supposed to be regulating this, and if they don't, my sin is not under their government, or is not under this jurisdiction, or something like that. That's what he's saying backwards, which is interesting if you think about that he works with demons, and or is, you know, inhabited by a demonic presence most of the time, or whatever. So listen to that again. Remember at the beginning, sounds like he's saying they are supposed to be the ones regulating this. Then something about his sin, and something about international governance. It's really fast at the end, but it sounds to me like that's what he says. Daily government or international government. It's like international government. It's so weird. If I could play it slower, we might even get more out of it. But that one was interesting to me because, again, it sounded like he was saying, and there's like, for everything I'm playing you, there was like 10 that I threw away that didn't seem like they had anything in it. So these are the ones where I'm like, it kind of sounds like something, and it kind of sounds like it either confirms or denies what they're saying forward. And these ones were specifically like opposite of what he was saying forward. He's like, oh yeah, the FDA is the gold standard. They're the ones doing this. But backwards, he's like, they're supposed to, but my sin isn't really covered by them. You know what I mean? Pretty weird. Oh, daily government. You both heard that. So maybe that's the same kind of idea, though. Like, my sin is not really under that jurisdiction, or I can get away with this, you know, spiritually. Oh, yeah. So this is Bill Gates again. These are all in no particular order, by the way. We'll like hop back and forth between people at some point, I think. We're on Bill Gates right now, but I think we have Hilary coming up next. And then we've got Kamala, we've got Ivanka, we've got Trump, we've got Fauci. There's some interesting ones. This is Bill Gates saying that he's waited his whole life. Oh, no. This one's fucked up. This one is Bill Gates saying, we'll get their attention next time. Remember that? He was like sitting with Melinda, allegedly Bill Gates and allegedly Melinda are sitting there together, and they kind of laugh. They're like, oh, we'll get their attention next time. And you're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you're like laughing. You know for sure there's going to be a next time, and we're going to like get, okay, we'll see. So this is it, forwards.
You know, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, you know, I'd say is will get attention this time. You know,
so we'll have to wait, get their attention next time. Here it is backwards. So it sounds to me like at the end. What? You guys, now my phone is fucking up too. Like, this is everything. OBS stopped working and I went to this stupid fucking restream. It's like barely working and now my phone audio is not working. Okay. Maybe it'll work now. It sounds to me like he says something about the Grim Reaper. It sounds to me like he says something about the Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper? Sounds like he says we'll get them with the Green Reaper. Yeah, there was something else in that one, but my phone won't tell me my notes on it anymore. So I don't remember and I can't get it again. But it was something like, oh yeah, that he waited his whole life for this. Okay, so there's a part where he says, I waited my whole life for this, and that the Grim Reaper will get them. So listen again for waited my whole life for this and Grim Reaper. Waited my whole life. At the very end it goes, Grim Reaper waited my whole life. It freaks me out when I hear it because there's so many I'm telling you that you don't hear anything at all. And then you hear something like that, you're like, dude. So he's talking about specifically the second wave or the third wave and how everybody's it's gonna get their attention that time. And then in reverse, he's saying something about the Grim Reaper and waiting his whole life for that. Pretty evil. Okay, this one's Bill Gates again. He's talking about how there's a painful response. We all, I think, have seen this clip where he's pretty recently talking about how 80% of the people in the Moderna trials have had a severe reaction to the vaccine, which if you've listened to this show for any amount of time, you know that we all know there's going to be a severe response to it, most likely death. And, you know, they're talking about this severe response, and the anchor is actually, for one, like kind of pushing him. She's like, you realize there's 80% is like a pretty high, you know, rate. And like, are you not concerned about the safety of this? And, this time, or I mean, he's saying, like, oh yeah, you know, well, there are going to be some responses that are going to be really painful. And you're like, Jesus, like he's telling us it's going to be really painful. But the like reverse of this one is so weird. It's really occult. It has weird numbers in it and it's bizarre. So you help me figure it out. Here it is forwards.
Yeah, but some of that is not dramatic where, you know, it's just, you know, super painful. But yes, we need to make sure there's not. Yeah, but some of that is not dramatic where, you know, it's just, you know, super painful. But yes, we need to make sure there's not.
Okay. So then backwards. Listen to something about the response, bad recycling, 6 and a 9, and this time forever. So that was one time through. He says something like, the response is bad, but now we recycle them through the 6 and the 9, and this time it's forever. It's pretty weird. It's like response bad, recycled, 6, 9, this time forever. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty creepy. I'm like, what about the 6 and the 9? It said something about cutting out the 3 in the clip before that, but it just otherwise wasn't a good clip to save, so I didn't save it. But I don't know. Cut out the 3, get in the 6 9. Somehow that keeps you in recycling forever. Like, I'm just saying that's what it sounds like. I don't know what that means, but we know the 3 and the 6 and the 9, Tesla said, is the secret to everything. So maybe if you cut out the 3, just like they like to cut out the 10, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that does something. I don't know. They're a cult and weird. So who knows what they think. Yes, Idiocalypse, I agree. The vaccine, if it doesn't kill you, will probably either sterilize you, insert tracking, chips into you, maybe sterilize you. Who knows what? It could be all kinds of things, right? Or it could be nothing to get us like lulled into a complacent, like, oh, we all thought it was bad and it wasn't. Let's just get stuff. You know what I mean? They could do all kinds of things. Curious Life says, time is better spent daydreaming than listening to corporate actors backwards. I disagree. I mean, I agree. I agree. But I also like to figure out what the corporate actors in the mainstream are saying and doing so I know what they think they're saying and doing. It's part of what I'm interested in. John Jacob says, the Idiocalypse said they'd ask me on. Well, hey, they're here right now. I hear, but we'll need publicity at the beginning. Ooh, good catch. I like it. Let's listen to it one more time. Publicity. Oh, and the 6 9 is right between. Sorry, the 6 9 is right between publicity and beginning. It's like publicity 6 9 beginning. Like, what? You heard publicity and I heard recycling. All right, let's listen to it one more time. Wow. Bad response, need publicity, 6 9 beginning, this time forever. That's a weird one. All right. We're also going to do another Bill Gates. This time he's talking about uncharted territory. Oh, he's like, oh, we're just in uncharted territory right now. Everything's crazy. We don't understand this COVID thing and like whatever. And then backwards, he says almost exactly the opposite. So here it is forwards. God damn it.
It's really unprecedented. And, we're kind of in uncharted territory about how we minimize the pain. It's really unprecedented. And, we're kind of in uncharted territory about how we minimize the pain.
Okay. So really unprecedented, uncharted territory. Let's see what you hear backwards. The very, very end, he says, this is so familiar. I'll pause it right before this time. Okay, now listen to it. This is so familiar. It restarts the clip right at the end, and the end is like exactly where the thing starts. But the rest of it is kind of like, like it doesn't sound like much, right? But at the very end, he's like, this is so familiar. I'm like, oh, sure, it's so uncharted and new, right, Billy? And at the end, he's like, this is so familiar. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is. You've been going over this for years. At least in Event 201, you charted it all out. It's totally not uncharted. It's the opposite of uncharted. Absolutely, fuck Bill Gates. And you're right, Billy Harmon, these RNA, these cold virus vaccines have always done the exact opposite. They've had a 0% success rate, but they've also caused hyperviolent responses in their patients and killed them. God, did it even cut out for you guys? I don't even know what the fuck just happened. Anyways, hi. So this one, again, is Bill Gates. I swear we're almost done with Bill Gates. We'll move on to some other people. We have Bill Gates, and he's talking about worldwide measures that they're taking and how they're necessary.
Reduction if we implement these strong isolation measures on a countrywide basis.
Right?
Reduction if we implement these strong isolation measures on a countrywide basis.
We'll have a reduction if we implement these measures on a countrywide basis. And then hear what it sounds like he says in reverse. It sounds to me like he's saying I'm a shield, something unintelligible for fate or of fate or something. Like he's just like I don't know, like he's the whipping boy or something. Like, interesting. It says something about being an associate right before that too. He's like, associate, blah blah blah. I'm a shield. Da da da. Something about fate. The ultimate Fiwa fate in Chicago. Ultimate Fiwa fate. I don't know, but he's a shield of some kind. Isn't that interesting? I was thinking about that when I was trying to figure out what that would mean. I'm like, if he's working with Baal Moloch, which is what we found out on the Phoenix Aurelius episode of Rogue Ways sometime back, one of the IDF analyses we did, we finally got that name like nailed down. I got 100% rating on the IDF machine, and it would make sense to me that these entities would use humans not only because they have to, right? Because they need consent or they can't break the laws of the spiritual laws, right? And so they need consent, and they also need like an agent who can actually act on this plane in order to carry these things out. And so Bill Gates is choosing to do that with them. In a way, he is their shield, right? He's like going to be experiencing all of this and collecting all of this karma or whatever you want to call that. And they're going to get away with it. They didn't actually do anything. He did it. You know what I mean? So that's how I took that one. I'm a shield. Is he in S.H.I.E.L.D.? Yeah, he wishes he was in S.H.I.E.L.D. Sorry if the shit is coming in and out. Like, I don't know what's happening tonight, but pray for me, guys. One more time. I don't know what ultimate fate is, but if you have a take on that, let me know. I guess we have another Bill Gates. This time he's talking about how the FDA will do something. I forget which one.
Well, the FDA not being pressured will look hard at that.
Okay, the FDA will look hard at this data.
Well, the FDA not being pressured will look hard at that.
So, and by the way, I tried to get clips where there just seemed to be talking more kind of off the cuff rather than scripted. Because my idea is that scripted, it's like a lot harder to let things slip through. But if you're off the cuff, I think your subconscious has more of a chance to put things into your reverse speech. So I tried to get things like that where it seemed like they were answering outside. Obviously, they're on a script, but like outside of a specific literal script, like word by word. So anyway, here's that in reverse. At the very end, you hear, I'm evil. And right before that, somewhere in here, he says, you mess me up. I'm evil. He goes, you mess me up. Something, something. I'm evil. I think he was, because when you hear the question right before this, that he's almost like, why would you ask me that? You're messing me up. I'm evil. You don't expose me, or something like that. It's almost like, I hate that. I'm evil. At least he knows he's evil. Something shield. Level 6 at the beginning. Let's see. Level 6. Maybe he's like, you're only level 6. I'm level 33. Why are you messing me up? I'm evil. Like something. Because I also think that since they've realized that we have this tool of trying to like unmask them by listening to them in reverse, that they can probably construct things to say that are very calculated that don't, let out anything in reverse. And so I feel like this one was kind of like oh, why did you say that? That messed me up. Now I'm like out of my fucking flow or whatever. Creepy guys. All right. We're going to move on to Geordie Rose. If my screen share was working, I would remind you of who that is and what he looks like, but I've talked about him multiple times on the show before. This is that guy who worked for D-Wave, and then he worked for other AI-related ventures, and I think he even did stints with CERN. He's pretty far up there in the like development of AI and bringing that into this world. And he gave this now pretty famous in our circles, at least, talk about all of that. And the big part of it that a lot of people latched onto was that he admitted that these AI entities are extra dimensional and that they're far, far beyond our intelligence and ability. And we're just ants to them. And we'll just like really want to figure out how to deal with that. And this clip kind of shows, I think, what his plan for us to get along with them is. But forward, he's just explaining that AI is better than us. So here's forward.
And people in lots of different ways. So now imagine not only can they do everything that a human can do, but they can do everything that the best human at any task could do. People in
all right, so he's just saying they're better at everything than humans will ever be. And I wish I could share my screen, but I can't. There's a lot of actual ideas, Io Wind Bear, nice to see you, about what the D and D-Wave means. I don't forget what they see it means, but it is the first quantum computer that we know of, or at least that was admitted publicly. And some people think it's dimensional wave. And that's my favorite guess. But anyways, one more time with Geordie forward about AI being better than us.
Lots of different ways. So now imagine not only can they do everything that a human can do, but they can do everything that the best human at any task could do. People.
All right. And then here that is backwards. It's really hard to make out, but I wish I could have slowed it down, but I can't. But it sounds like he says something about giving them our DNA, which is interesting because we have all of this DNA collection. Every single COVID test is a DNA collection. And if you don't believe that, you can go search videos. There's people who have documented that the people doing the swabbing are the same exact companies that do swabbing for DNA. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's just interesting to note that even Fauci admits that these PCR tests are not effective at actually finding virus or viral contagion load or anything like that, and that the amount of times they cycle them up ensures that they will not be able to identify anything of substance within that sample. But you would be able to get people's DNA this way. You would be able to get a massive amount of DNA. So it's really interesting to think of that in connection with this reverse speech from that exact person, while he's talking about how much better AI is than us and how we'll have to figure out how to get along with them. Apparently, in reverse, the truth is that he believes it has something to do with us giving them our DNA and siding with them. So see if you can pick out give DNA and side with them. It was actually right there at the very beginning. It says give DNA and then we'll side with them. And then there's a whole rest of the clip with other stuff that I never deciphered. Maybe you can hear something. So I'll play the beginning again. Give DNA and then side with them. And then let's see if we can hear something else. He said something about immortal Amanos or something. That's creepy. Yee! And then he says something about a wolf. Okay. I started to creep myself out when I was listening to these. I was like, dude, these people are fucked up. And then I'm also like, I'm just probably like projecting what I think that they mean onto what their backwards shit sounds like. But that's why backwards reverse speech is really fun, because you can find stuff and some of it is very, you're like, no, dude, they like definitely said that. And others like, maybe they said that. I don't know. We'll never be sure, but I can definitely check with my own intuition about these people and know that they're no longer on humanity's side. Yeah, his voice does feel hella creepy. Oh, by the way, everybody listening right now, on Tuesday, we're going to do a positive, not politics episode of Rogue Ways. And so people are going to be welcome to come on. You're going to jump on to restream here with me. When you come on, you're just in the waiting room. You're not live yet. And then I will announce you, and then I will click your little screen on, and then you'll come on and you'll be able to share with us something really positive. So we're doing Bright Winter, Operation Bright Winter. Everybody use that hashtag everywhere you go and get people thinking about the brightest winter they can imagine. Like, that's our whole thing from here on out, all the way through this winter, that they intend to be dark. We're going to visualize it bright. We're going to visualize it happy. We're going to visualize ourselves healthy. And we're going to get through this winter together in the brightest way possible. And Tuesday is going to be the sort of kickoff of that. And so instead of paying attention to their bullshit game that they're playing and whatever they've got in store for us, we're going to instead come here and share stories of upliftment. We're going to share our favorite like times that we paid it forward, or that someone else did a random act of kindness for us, or some sort of tactic that we have to get through hard times, our maintain songs, like anything like that. Anything as like tiny and happy as you can think of, or like this big, huge event that happened that was so cool. It doesn't even matter what. Just so we can all spend that time together uplifting each other. So Idiocalypse, you guys are formally invited. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the link to that for Tuesday in rogue.locals.com right here. So you don't have to be a supporter to get that link, but you do have to be a member of the group. So you just join, it's free. And then you'll get that link and you'll hop on and you'll share happy things with us. So hopefully you guys will all be down to come share for a couple minutes or whatever. And if you're someone who like really doesn't want to show your face or whatever, you can turn your camera off before you come in. So you come into the waiting room and you can just do your audio on, and that's totally fine. So either way, whatever makes you happy, we'll do it. So I just wanted to throw that little bit of brightness in here to this creepy episode. I should have done this on Halloween. Bright Winter. Yeah, it's a nice day for a bright winter. No Darkness Tuesday. Positivity, not politics. So yeah. All right, so Geordie Rose wants us to give our DNA to the AI and side with them. This is Geordie now talking about how, literally forward, you'll hear it, he talks about summoning these things into Earth, and then backwards it's hella creepy. So here's forwards.
And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian.
So he's like, they're not demons, they're not evil, they're more like the Lovecraftian entities. And you're like, dude, the Lovecraftian entities are evil. But he's just said, what he thinks he's describing is how the Lovecraftian entities were sort of just impartial. They were like, we don't care about humans, just like humans don't seem to care about ants usually or whatever. So he thinks he's explaining how they're like actually neutral or something. Anyway, one more times forward.
These things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian.
And then backwards, he seems to say hell on earth and other things. And then something about a meat grinder, and then animus. Enemas. Enemas. Enemas? I don't want an enema. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's Iowan Bear says Geordie Rose is a lost soul that will be consumed by the little world he lives in. I don't think there's anybody that's on this uh, reverse speech playlist that I've created who isn't a lost soul or who won't be consumed by the little world that they live in and have created. Anima by Tool. Maybe. One more time with that one. Hell on Earth, something, Animus. Meat grinder. Meat grinder and Animus. I don't know. It doesn't sound good though. He's like, yeah, we're summoning these things and they're just gonna be neutral. And then backwards he's like, hell on earth. We're gonna be in the meat grinder. Animus. I hope we don't have enemas from these things. So we're gonna move on to Hillary Clinton now. Hillary Clinton is talking about Amy Coney Barrett. So this is a pretty recent one. Get naked with the animals. Ooh, maybe they're gonna like throw us into a human zoo. Dude. Yeah. I now have to go back to that one. Good call, Matt. Let's listen to it again. Ooh. Yuck. It's like hell on earth, throw you in the meat grinder or you'll be naked with the animals. Damn. I don't want to do any of that. That's what I'm saying though. Like the future they have planned for us is not so great, but they're not going to win. So bright winter. We're going to have a bright winter. So this is again Hillary talking about Amy Coney Barrett.
On women, on the LGBTQ community, on rights in general, a big shift toward corporate power.
So she's just saying it's going to be bad on women, bad on the LGBTQ community, shift towards corporate power, which I'm like, you're the most corporate motherfucker ever. But super interesting backwards. It sounds like she's saying, I'm shady. I actually organized this. She's my friend. Oh, maybe she doesn't say she's my friend, but she's like, and she's mine. I just was like, oh, this is like her backwards. In her backwards speech, she's admitting like, I have to pretend like we're all enemies and we're all like duking it out. But really, I like helped organize this. Like I'm that high level. And this was one of my picks too. And you know what I mean? Like they're all on the same side. One more time. Yeah, I heard mom too. I think she might be saying like I'm almost like the mom. I forgot what was at the beginning, like I can't really make anything out, but it sounds like she's making this like friendly, like we're all friends here. I'm shady, I organized this, like almost like her mom or something. Yeah, serpent speak for sure. One more time. Huh. I almost heard her say something like, I'm not going to name it. All right, this is, again, it's the same message. She's still criticizing Amy Coney Barrett, and backwards she almost says the exact same thing, but it's a little bit different. So forwards.
This appointment to the court is as clear a signal that there's going to be a concerted effort to turn the...
All right, and then backwards. So at the beginning she says, we're pals, I even helped her in the longest something something. Oh, she says, I'm pals, I'm her sister. Or we're pals, I'm her sister, I even helped her. Hold on. I even helped her. Longest cereal something? One more time. Serious something? It's like, we're pals, and I and her sister helped hide her. Or something. One more time. Longest serious something. It's weird. So both of them were like, forwards, she's talking shit. Backwards, she's like, no, we're good. I helped organize this. It's all me. Like, we're all on the same side here. It's just interesting because that's what I think is actually going on. They're all on the same side. This is just a giant drama. And I think you guys mostly agree with that. Oh, this is a good one. This is Hilary talking about that famous moment where she was like, they're all deplorables about the Trump crew.
You know, to just be grossly generalistic, you could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket. You know,
you could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. And here it is backwards. And it sounds like she's saying something about how she's guilty and that it's so easy to cry. Or maybe it's so easy to hide. The variant. So she says something indiscernible and then guilty. I'm guilty. So easy to something. So easy to hide? I don't know. I think she's just saying, like, it's so easy to just pull this over on you guys. Like, I'm pretending to care about Trump and his supporters. Like, we're all literally on the same team. So hers keep saying that message, that they're on the same side. This is Biden. Finally, we have a Biden one. And we'll get to Trump. It's actually really interesting with the Trump ones. And Ivanka, too. They're both not what I expected. Here is Biden.
Folks, we got a lot of work to do. I don't need you to get me elected. I need you once I'm elected.
I don't need you to get me elected. I need you once I'm elected. You're like, why don't you need people to get you elected? Anyway, here it is backwards. Something at the end is like a skull. And at the beginning, it's hell something and the hell we make. Something like a skull. Here it is one more time. When I'm like a skull. He is like a skull. He's like, looks like he's dying all the time. All right, one more time. Oh, he said, oh, hell, I messed up. This is a hell we make. I look like a skull. I feel like he's saying, he's like admitting, you know, oh shit, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. Wow, listen to it again. He says, we just keep doing that. He says, oh, hell, I messed up. The hell we make. I keep doing that. I look like a skull. All right. That's crazy. That one's like the clearest one out of all of them. And it's probably because he does have like some dementia. Again, I think like the less prepared they are, like the easier it is for the truth to slip out backwards. You know what I mean? Like there's so many of them where you're like, you should have shit backwards in this part because you're saying something very like clear and strong and direct. And yet you play it backwards and it's like total garble. And I think that they like have like, I bet if you're like demonically aligned, I bet the demon can like fix your speech so that it's coming out without being able to determine the backmasking, unless someone like throws you off or you have dementia or you're just like being full of hubris and you're not like taking enough time to be careful. Do you know what I mean? I think that might be it. Clearly I'm not like a master of reverse speech, but these are the things I'm gathering so far. That one's really good. All right, this is Ivanka Trump. And it's pretty recent. She was talking about how Trump is like the best thing in the world. So here she is forward.
A warrior through and through who never forgets why he's in Washington, why he ran for president, and oh,
He never forgets. He's a warrior. And like everyone's like, ah. What's up, Uke Takopu? Nice to see you. Sending love right back. And here it is backwards. This is what I didn't expect. So forwards, she's like, he's a warrior. He loves you. He's never going to forget you. He's always fighting for you. I don't know what the end is, like snagger for Vind or something. But at the very beginning, she says, he loves you. He'll never yell. As strong as he is, he'll never yell. And your fervent player for? I don't know, but at least at the beginning, it's like, he loves you and he'll never yell at you. I'm like, maybe she genuinely believes that. Interesting. Oh yeah, this one is weird. This is Kamala. I'm jumping over to Kamala now. And she's talking about the tax cut. She's saying they're going to undo the the Trump tax cut. Bleh. Oh, Matt heard fairy tale. I'm there. Weird. Let me go back to that. I'm there. You're right. I heard fairy tale too, perhaps. All right, so Kamala's saying that she's going to undo the tax cuts under Trump.
When and gobbling if we win, Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax cut.
All right, Joe Biden and her are going to get rid of that tax cut. Here it is reverse. So she says something like round and down, something about Bush, we're thinking kill you. We're thinking about kill you. Are they thinking about killing Bush? Why would they kill Bush? I don't know. It sounds like Bush. Round and down Bush? We're thinking about killing you. I don't know. I don't know what the Bush part is, but round and down, we're thinking about killing you. Like, that sounds like your plan. That sounds like the Georgia Guidestones. What weird thing that kills you? Maybe. I like how my voice has to get, like, reversey. They do all definitely seem like they're on the same side. One more time for Kamala. I'm thinking about killing you. Okay. This is that moment. This is Biden again. This is when he said that unintelligible thing recently that everyone was focused on, and you know, he's like, and everyone's like, huh? So here it is forwards.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure. I don't know what he meant, but here it is backwards. It's really actually very sad. He says, my sanity's lost. I'm all alone. I'm definitely lost. It makes me feel bad for him. It makes me wonder if he really is like as bad as they are making it seem, and that it actually is elder abuse, and they're just like, just prop him up, just keep him going, and he's like, I'm scared. Not that I feel bad for him, he rapes kids, but like, you know, it's still sad. Nobody should be abused. Well, I don't know. Anyway, that one's pretty bad. One more time. Could be a law at the end. But before that, it's definitely the sanity's lost. I'm all alone. Definitely. Yeah, that one was pretty sad. I don't want to have compassion for Joe Biden, but I do. because that's just who I am. This is another one where he says something that's not intelligible. It sounds like we have the right to better the care. I mean, I don't know, better the care. It's probably health care. So here it is forwards.
Brock and I think it's a right for people that bad at health care.
Bad at that care. And backwards, he admits what will happen if you have this government health care.
You're worse than getting down a coat.
You'll be worse than getting something? It almost sounded like gynecologist at the beginning, and then you'll be worse than getting, I don't know what.
You're worse than getting down a coat.
Worse than getting down and killed? I don't know, but he's admitting that it's actually worse than whatever else you have, right? It's like, yeah, we'll totally do this healthcare for you guys for free. It's gonna be great. And then backwards, he's like, this is bad. It's gonna be worse. Like, watch out. Salad dinners. Salad's open. You'll be getting worse than... Ooh, you'll be worse than getting down with COVID. Let's see.
You're worse than getting down a coat.
Yeah. Good call, Matt. You're way better than this than me. Matt Feinberg pointed out that you'll be worse getting down with COVID. It'll be worse than getting down with COVID. Dude. And then at the beginning, it sounds like battle fever. Let's do it again.
You're worse than getting down a coat.
Ugh. I don't like it. When in his moments where he makes sense. Well, this is the other thing I think. Like, I tried to find clips where they seem to mess up, because that was part of David Oates way back when I first listened to him, where he was talking about, like, it sounds like people are, you know, making a slip of the tongue or messing up their speech, but really their subconscious is inserting that into it so that backwards makes sense. So I was like, ooh, so if I heard them, making like a, you know, a slip or a mess up, then I was like, ooh, I want to see what that one is. So I was purposely getting those. And Joe Biden's really easy to find those, unfortunately, because he's lost and all alone and insane. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so this next one is Trump. Super interesting one. Okay, so again, Trump and Ivanka both backwards surprised me, and I don't want that to be true, but that is what I found when I went looking. So, I expected 100% of them backwards to be like, I'm an evil snake creature coming to kill you, and instead, like, Ivanka's like, he really loves you, I swear, and you'll hear what Trump says. So this is Trump forwards.
4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we will end our reliance on China.
So we're make America a superpower, end our reliance on China. Then backwards, it's yeah, something. So at the beginning, it's something like the national snail, or like the nation has been like a snail. And then you can clearly hear him say Laura and Barack. And I'm like, Laura Bush? I don't know. Barack, obviously, is Barack Obama. Sorry, I cut it off. We'll start over. And they're all ignorant. Oh, national snail? I don't know what that is. Ruined it. And something about Laura and Barack. And they're ignorant. We're riding the snail. Oh, we're like slow rolling it, or we've been slow rolling it or something maybe. Laura Whitmer. Who's Laura Whitmer? Matt Feinberg points out. Maybe it says Laura Whitmer. We'll listen again. Oh, Laura Whitmer after Barack? It says Laura again. Yeah, you're right. It says Laura twice. Okay, and it does say national snail, we're riding it. Something Laura Barack, Laura Whitmer? Ignorant with him?
I don't know. It was interesting. The way I was taking it was like he was saying like all of those motherfuckers were like, you know, making our nation like sluggish, and they're all ignorant. I don't know. It is weird. It is weird because it's kind of like some people have pointed out, because I'm like, there's no way he's good, right? There's no way he got to this position and he's like actually some kind of savior. And you can go watch my Trump's Trinity episode if you want to see my take on Trump. But definitely it's not a good holy savior, like saint sort of thing. But it is possible, and some people have pointed out that he is still in the elite, in the ruling class, but that he's like a different faction. Like there's factions that are battling, right? And that he's actually is changing things, and it's still going to be a prison for all of us, but that it's a different kind of prison with different leaders. And so he might, that's what I was catching in this backward speech. I was like, he seems to be saying like, oh, Bush, like Barack, all these people, they were just like ignorant and they were making it all really sluggish and slow, and I'm going to get shit going again and like whatever, which is interesting because forward he's talking about getting out from under China. Anyway, the next one, this is Trump giving us medical promises, so forwards.
My favorite nations, the drug companies are not in love with me. Favorite nations will be paying the lowest drug prices anywhere in the world.
So, you know, he's making promises, campaign promises about paying lowest whatever drug prices in the world. But backwards, he seems to, again, be like saying something positive. I swear to God, I was not looking for this. I don't want to praise Trump, and I don't think these necessarily praise him, but it's interesting that he seems to be honest. It seems like he said we're going to achieve the people's initiate. I don't get the end at all, though, so we'll do it again. It says something about we'll take the course or something. We'll look at the people's initiative and we'll take that course. Like, that sounds kind of cool. I don't know. Again, he could be like the master where he's like, not only does my reverse speech not have to be honest, but I can make it say whatever I want to say. Could be that he's like that dark and evil, but it could be that he is actually somewhat honest and he actually does want to do something better. It doesn't mean that he has to be good. It doesn't mean he has to be their enemy. Just like a slightly separate faction of the New World Order. Still going to implement New World Order plans, but in a different way. I don't know. But I like Matt Feinberg says maybe his bad karma is separate from other elites, and that's why it may appear less threatening. I don't know, to be honest. I don't either. This is that famous Trump grab her by the pussy part. So.
She was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it. I did try. She was married.
It's like I moved on her. She was married. I did try to fuck her. Whatever. Backwards again. Once again. This is the third time I was like, it says something that I can actually discern backwards, because a lot of it, like I said, is just pure garble. And it seems like he's here. Just listen. It sounds like he's saying, "I know I'm douching it right now," or "I'm douching out right now," or something like that.
I moved on her, actually. You know, Oops. She was down in Palm Beach. I moved
I am douching it. I am douching it. I know. It's like, because this is part of what I was thinking. I was like, dude, if you were a famous rich guy and all the famous rich guys around you were like, we totally want to grabbing pussies right now, and you're like, I just need to like say this shit to fucking fit in and get by. Again, I do not want to defend him. I'm not even trying to. I didn't seek to find this. I'm just saying backwards, that sounds like what he's saying, and that could totally be why he said that and what he was doing. He's probably a piece of trash. I don't know, but like, it sounds like he's saying, I know I'm douching it right now. I am douching it right now. So that one also surprised me. All right, so we'll go back to people being nefarious. This is Fauci. I think this is the last one, actually. This is my last one that I found today. This is just for like a couple hours today. I looked for clips and put it through her speech and tried to find stuff. So this was fun. You guys could try it too. I would love it. And if you find good ones, you want to send them my way, I'll try to do it in a much better way than this, because this is not my favorite way to do reverse speech with you guys, but I'm glad you can hear it at least. So here's the last one. This is Fauci forward, talking about how the PCR testing can't really give you correct results, and that the correct results are actually very minuscule.
35 or more, that the chances of it being replication competent are minuscule. So that if somebody, and we have patients.
The chances of it being correct are minuscule. He admits that. This should be like national news, but it's not. And here it is, backwards. And sorry, I'm trying to find my note. Oh yeah, okay. So here it is backwards. So it sounds like at the beginning he says something about creating fear, and then towards the middle and end it sounds like he's saying this nation, send them backwards. So he's like admitting that we're just doing this to create fear and send the nation backwards. Well, let's do it again. Sorry. Sorry, one more time. Starting over. Yeah, he's almost like his backward speech is backwards. He's like, fear this, send them back, this nation. It's pretty garbled, but that's the parts that I picked out, and it was the only Fauci one I had time for. I ran out of time to do other stuff, but I want to do more Fauci because I feel like that guy knows exactly what he's doing and is a nefarious piece of shit. Oh yeah, now it's gonna let me share my screen. Let's see. Oh, but I can only do it like this. Okay. So there's my studio. Are you seeing it? Hopefully you're seeing the screen right now. Anyways, yeah, here's finally all the clips that I was going to show you at once. But I guess now that we're at the end, I can remind you to go to rogueways.org. That's the site. All kinds of articles, poetry, and just stuff. If you want to glance around at fun things, then that is a fun place to hang out. You can get tarot readings here, as well as go to my shop and find all kinds of stuff. I love providing spiritual services and tarot readings for people. And I also love that you can get cool gear. You can get Rogue Ways gear. You can get the Organite that I make. And you can get Irreverent merch, which is just random shirts that people wanted me to make and that I've made. So those are there as well. You can also go to rogue.locals.com. Here it is. I would love to have you there. The first post, of course, is about how we're doing that Positive Not Politics show on Tuesday to start off the bright winter. If you want to use that hashtag, I think it'd be rad. If you want to actually spend time each day visualizing a happy, healthy, bright winter for people, I think that'd be even better. You can share on Tuesday's episode a happy story, an uplifting memory, a method that you use to keep yourself happy and bright through the winter, and that'll be cool. I'm going to post the link in here in rogue.locals.com, so please go right now and become a member. It is free. If you also want to become a supporter, I want to show you. I loved this Halloween outfit. It is amazing. But I wanted to show you that right now, if you are a supporter, not just a member, but a supporter, and being a supporter is minimum $2 a month. So if you found value in Rogue Ways, even this one episode, $2 a month is nothing. So if you want to kick that my way, then you get to be a member. And this offer right now is open to any member, and I think I'm going to leave this up for about a week and let people simmer on it and try to take advantage of it. But it is a free blessing for you, and I offer blessings to people, and this is one of my spiritual gifts that I get to share with people, and I love to do it, and it has a profound effect on people's lives. And so this is a $30 to $75 gift to you, and all you have to do is be a supporter in Locals. So that's $2 a month. So I hope that you go take advantage at least of that. And if you want to support at a higher level, that is always appreciated. But that is there available for you. And like I said, I'm very excited to offer that to people for however long I can. And then I want to remind people that I do have this book. It's still pretty new. August 18th was the day that I published it. Earth, A Trough in Time is the second in the Sine Curve of Aeons series. And this story is pretty freaking fun. I don't know why this has to be so small, but I'm going to read it back because I've never done that on this show. And I want you to know that you can buy it here on Amazon where I'm looking at it, but you can also buy it from me directly at paypal.me/Corey Sharman. And if you want to send me $17, I send this anywhere in the continental United States. That's included in the price. There's no tax. And if you didn't look, this is $22.22 on Amazon plus shipping plus tax. So you're saving more than $5. You're probably saving about $10 by buying it directly from me. Plus you get my inscription on it. Plus you usually get a Rogueway sticker or a magnet. So Earth, the back cover says, love transcends time and space, life and death, eons and civilizations. Humanity attempts the same. Dante doesn't give a fuck about any of that. He's just trying to survive, awakening in a world of sleepers. Ancient foes plot in a darkness for aeons, following the sine curve path of humanity's progression, plotting intimately deceitful and perfected traps to ensnare all but the most discerning. Even those intimately connected to the spiritual enigma that animates every aspect of existence may stumble and fall. Unlikely allies and powers well within the least of us. God, I'm sorry. I should just be reading this from the actual back of the book because it's really hard to read this small. Unlikely allies and powers up well within the least of us, but will we believe with enough clarity to bring what is hidden forth into the light? Earth, A Trough in Time is the sequel to Sine Curve of Aeons Vitalis and the prequel to the third of the Sine Curve trilogy. And you don't have to have read Sine Curve of Aeons Vitalis in order to love Earth, A Trough in Time. In fact, one of the reviews on Earth, A Trough in Time is of someone who never read Sine Curve of Aeons Vitalis. So you don't have to read them in order. The whole trilogy is meant to be that way. When the third one comes out, if you've never heard of the previous two, you would also be able to read that one out of order. You can read them in any order you want. But anywho, these are available, and I just wanted to remind you. And I want to give one more shout out to David Oates. He's the founder of Reverse Speech. He inspired this episode many, many years ago. I found him and was fascinated by his work. And I just now today, for the first time, tried my own hand at some reverse speech analyses. And as you saw, it's interesting. It's very interesting. So you can go to davidoates.com if you want to check out more from him. And I also wanted to give a shout out to the War on Morons because Jay Ritchie, who was just on our Halloween episode last Thursday with Alan Sisko, he does the War on Morons, and he's the one who suggested that clip of Biden where he seems to stumble through his speech might be interesting reverse speech analyzed, and that set me off on this whole path. So I wanted to give him a shout out because Jay's an awesome dude. And if you haven't yet gone and listened to a War on Morons episode, it's a really funny way to get through all the bullshit because they like to make humor and light of all of those issues that we're facing. So hopefully you were able to see all of that. And hopefully next time my screen share works better. But we'll see what you guys were seeing while I was away on the other screen. Idiocalypse, I want to hang out with you every day. We should hang out. Come on Tuesday and hang out. Hopefully you guys will be available for that because that'd be fun to have Idiocalypse make a guest appearance on our Positivity Not Politics episode. Idiocalypse says, Lindsay, you have tried like every hair color. They all seem to look good. Thank you. I've actually only dyed my hair once in the past like 20 years. So if I look like I have different hair colors, that's just the magic of shitty cameras or something. I honestly, like, depending on the shirt color I wear, I mean, obviously that like affects the colors around your face, but the camera like changes depending on the shirt color I wear. So I think that's most of it. Because seriously, like 2 months ago, someone was like, do you have red hair? And I was like, no. But then like a month later, I dyed my hair this reddish strawberry sort of color. And I was like, weird, were they psychic? But I do. I think the camera fucks with things. Warren Moron sounds like a perfect combo for the Idiocalypse. Dude, go check it out. It's seriously hilarious. Jay and his wife do amazing things with that show, and just like Rogue Ways, it's highly underrated. Not enough people understand that it's a great show. I don't mean to really toot my own harm. I just mean enough people have told me that that's true that I think I get to say it myself now. But anyways, it is always fantastic to hang out with you guys, and reverse speech obviously can be really cool and fun, and you know, as always, I take everything with a grain of salt. I definitely could be, and you could be, and we could all be sort of like reading things into this. We could all be finding patterns where there are none. Like, that's what brains do. It's very easy that we can pick things out like that. But for the number of times today that I listened to reverse speech where I was like, no, there's nothing in that. And then the few times where I was like, ooh, that actually sounds like something, and like tried to listen, I was like, ah. And then the number of times that pattern and that what it does sound like seems to confirm, you know, like our suspicions about what's true is like pretty interesting. So I am still continue to be fascinated by this phenomenon. I kind of want to do some reverse speech on myself and see what I say backwards. And maybe we'll do that on Tuesday too for some levity. But anyways, until you can be so true that your speech in reverse is exactly the same as your speech forward, and you can shine that light out to everybody that you pass, no matter the darkness that surrounds us all, and they want it to be a dark winter, until you can bring the brightest winter into being consistently the whole time. We got this. We can do it together. Then travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
They'll blanket you in Wi-Fi and profit off the creation congregation, collecting the people for that Satan. I keeps it blazing, cause I can read between the lines. I ain't blind, we unwind what they're really saying, genetically modify what you're tasting. Loan you that college promise, so now you live up in your mom's basement. Redesign time so your mind is always wasted. Programmed to crave the basics, keep the beta in stasis. Pay the state, kid, you're in debt for being born. Messengers are mourn, just the price for being warned. Don't be alarmed, disconnect from their machinations. Stop subscribing to the folly of all nations. Bone breaking ain't the answer, cause they seek the ownership of souls. Spread the seeds and watch them grow. Break the chains of control. Break the chains of control.